The hero. What? No. More like the villain. Oh my god. This episode from the amazing world of Gumball sucks. Here are the reasons why I hate this episode in my opinion. This episode starts out with Gumball and Darwin in the schoolyard, with Masami, Terry, Banana Joe, and Hector, who talk about how great their dads are. Once the kids ask Gumball and Darwin what their father does that is interesting, Richard pulls up in his car, and overhears the conversation. The only somewhat talents they can think of, sweating without moving and gaining weight, make the kids laugh. They then decide he is only good at embarrassing them all the time and that he cannot even cook, as he puts cement instead of flour in his cupcakes. Richard listens and grows more depressed on how they feel about him, and the cement cupcakes he made fall out of the bag and onto the sidewalk, thus proving their point. Richard cries and goes home, dejected. At the house, Gumball asks Nicole what is for dinner, and she says chicken and fries, which in front of both Darwin and him are just an uncooked chicken breast and a dirty potato. When Gumball asks Nicole if they can skip to dessert, Anais throws one of the cupcakes Richard made at them. Gumball and Darwin do not know what they have done to receive such treatment, and Anais and Nicole tell them that Richard overheard what they said at the playground, and has been hiding in the shed ever since. Gumball says he would apologize to Richard, if what they said was not the truth. Nicole decides since they do not appreciate their father, until they apologize to him for hurting his feelings, she will not do anything else for them. Gumball accepts this challenge as he eats the potato, and Anais and Nicole look at him in curiosity. Nicole then says she paid for that potato, so Gumball spits it into her hand, saying he was not hungry anyway. Meanwhile, Gumball and Darwin are waiting for Anais to get out of the shower, but since Nicole pays for the water bill and they are not providing anything for them, she says they have to shower elsewhere. Gumball then annoys her by mocking everything she said, so she throws the bar of soap at his nose, so Gumball keeps the soap. Even though Darwin is regretting the challenge, they cover themselves in soap and wait by a puddle on a curb for a car to drive over it and splash them. They do get splashed by the puddle, but it only covers them in mud. They regret doing that, but another car drives over and splashes them again. Gumball and Darwin return home with many bags, which they all got from the clearance aisle for $1. Darwin tells him they have to eat the food before the expiration date, which is what Larry said. Gumball says food does not have a sell-by date. That is what Larry wants them to think, and Gumball demonstrates by eating a banana, only for it to go bad as he is eating it. He spits it out, and the two scramble to eat the food, but the eggs hatch, the sunflower seeds grow then wilt, and the meat goes rotten as soon as opened, gets covered in maggots and flies swarm the whole screen, and are they only left with a can with no label. They hope it is something edible, but when they open it, it is a seemingly dead rat in green goo. They feel sorry for it, only for it to wake up and hiss at them. The rat flees before Darwin smashes the plate with a frying pan, and cries. The next day on the bus, Gumball and Darwin are malnourished, filthy, clothes in rags, and have flies all around them. Darwin is ready to apologize, but Gumball is not. Rocky tells them they have to get off the bus because their smell is disgusting everyone on the bus. In fact, all the students are huddled in the far right corner of the bus so they do not have to smell them. They get off, and Gumball decides angrily he is ready to apologize. They peek through the shed window and see Richard hammering nails into wood on his lap, which actually were nailing into his lap. Gumball starts laughing and says he cannot do it anymore as he walks away. Darwin looks through the window again and sees Richard looking at old photos of him, Darwin and Gumball. As he sings a song, Darwin understands everything and realizes he has to make Richard feel like a hero again. Soon, Gumball and Darwin are at the dump, inside an old car where Darwin tells him his plan. Darwin's plan is for them to be put in a dangerous situation so that Richard can rescue them and regain a sense of self-worth. The dangerous situation turns out to be the two of them sitting in a car that is to be destroyed in a car crusher. Gumball immediately rejects this plan, refusing to rely solely on their father to rescue them from certain death, but changes his mind when Darwin tells him he can stop the stunt with the push of a button. The boys start the scenario, but Darwin's panic button is rendered useless by the magnet that lifts the car up. Gumball scolds Darwin for his lack of foresight. Just then, Richard drives in to rescue them, but smashes the control box that Darwin had planned for him to use. Next, he tries using a ladder for the boys to climb down. Unfortunately, the ladder gets pulled up sideways instead of vertically, rendering it useless as well. Gumball mocks him, prompting Darwin to scold him. Richard's next plan is to turn the magnet off using the control panel, but the car is so high up that falling would be just as dangerous as getting crushed, so Richard turns the magnet back on before the car hits the ground. He pushes the lever too far up, though, increasing the power of the magnet and causing several metal objects in the junkyard to get attracted. This turns out to be advantageous, as Richard uses the objects to climb to where Gumball and Darwin are. Unfortunately, the magnet was not designed to carry that much weight. The tension in the cable is too great, and it nearly snaps. The sample drop is enough to shake Richard off and, to his kids' horror, he falls. As Gumball and Darwin mourn his death, he climbs up from behind, apparently having been able to grab something before hitting the ground. But, in typical Richard fashion, he has no idea what to do now that he is up there, prompting Gumball to mock him again. Just then, the cable finally gives in, and the three of them are dropped. Richard and Darwin land well off to the side of the crusher, but Gumball lands on top of the car, which itself is on top of the ladder, which itself was on top of the crusher. The car is teetering back and forth. It will not be long before it falls. The ladder provides a shaky bridge leading outside the crusher, but Gumball is too scared to walk it. With encouragement from Richard and memories of a similar situation from his childhood, he walks across the ladder and jumps right into Richard's outstretched arms as the car falls. Gumball hugs his dad tight, crying loudly. Richard is also in tears, but only because Gumball's claws are squeezing his nipples. Darwin cries too, and joins the hug. The boys, having reconciled with their father, draw him a picture. Richard nails it to the wall of the shed as Nicole looks on, beaming. She tells him to come to dinner, then heads there herself. Unfortunately, Richard has nailed himself to the wall. He sighs, and the episode ends. And that's how the episode goes. I don't know who likes or hates this episode, so I'm just gonna leave it be. So screw the hero. And screw the girlfriend. The kids is 7,373,737,737,737,337,737,737 times better than the hero. End of rant.